by Sister Dr. Hanan Isho, narrated by Enki. When we speak of the meaning of pilgrimage or the Jubilee, pilgrims of hope for this year, we are always reminded of how God's people lived this celebration and continue to live it in every season, considering it a special gift and grace marked by the forgiveness of sins, especially the grace that fully expresses God's mercy. We experience this grace daily through the liturgy. Therefore, let us pause for a moment to reflect on the spirituality of each liturgical season we live through during the months of the year. Joy. Christian hope thrives in the expectation and birth of Jesus, which is why it becomes essential to understand the deep meaning of Christian joy. Even through external expressions of faith, such as the nativity scene created by St. Francis, this joy is made manifest. Dreams. Christian hope resides in the star that illuminates everyone's dreams. It helps me understand the direction I should take and discover who I truly am and where I am going. This is somewhat like what happened to the Magi, or any saint, who fulfilled the dream that God continually allowed to take shape in their minds. Suffering. Christian hope lives in suffering, and the cross is the most eloquent testimony to this. Of course, though it is painful, suffering cannot and should not be avoided. Rather, it must be faced with courage, for it is an element of life and often has the power to foster growth in the person who experiences it and those around them. Forgiveness. Christian hope dwells in true forgiveness, not in retribution. Take, for example, Blessed John Paul II or other saints. They were truly able to forgive. But how can we forgive, mindful of all the obstacles that may stand in the way? Only through a deep and vital experience of Jesus' forgiveness. Respect. Christian hope resides in the body of every human being, a temple of the Spirit. Mary is the perfect example of this, which is why it is essential to use all parts of the body with respect and gratitude. Love. Hope helps us transcend the pain we feel when we see evil. Here we can learn from the merciful heart of Jesus, which teaches us to practice positive patience by giving others the chance to change their lives. God grants us sufficient time to transform and renew ourselves if we receive all the signs that gives us life and calls us to accept His love and live according to it. Faith. Christian hope helps us understand God's will and overcome the frailty of human nature. A person walks towards God with doubts and pains, yet believes that the Lord is the way, the truth, and the life. Here, we look to the Apostle Thomas, whose story reflects that of every believer. Weakness, doubt, questions, and continuous growth in faith despite circumstances. Through Thomas's simple questions, Jesus reveals a profound truth. Lord, we do not know where we are going, so how can we know the way? Jesus replies, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Communion. Hope is revealed in Mary's story as the importance of preserving the true image that God desires, lived in freedom, obedience, and fidelity. It calls us to value and respect the state of grace within ourselves, meaning communion with God above all through the sacraments and the indwelling of the Spirit. It invites us to submit to the transformative power of this Spirit, to be renewed with Christ, the new Adam, and like Him, to make the decision to follow Jesus by becoming an apostle of peace and hope amid humanity. Victory. Hope is the passion to reach the goal, and this finds its deepest meaning in the cross as a symbol of victory. The Lord teaches us that the cross is our companion and inseparable from us. Whoever wishes to follow me must deny themselves, take up their cross, and follow me. God desires us to experience His love every day, in every action we undertake. The cross is not a symbol of pain or failure, but of our triumph over evil. For through Jesus, our weakness and suffering becomes a means of victory. Welcome. Hope shows that it cannot be realized without accepting and welcoming God's grace into our lives. Let us emulate Mary's faith, her complete readiness for God's plan of love, and her generous welcome of Jesus. Let us learn from Mary how to live. She is the Queen of Heaven, close to God, yet also a mother near to each of us, loving us and listening to our voices. Eternity. Christian hope lives in a life without end. Naturally, death is a reality in this world and cannot be avoided. Even Jesus did not escape it. Yet He gave us the hope of resurrection against all death. It is the breath of eternity toward which we all journey. This is why it is worth living, not merely passing time, as Blessed Pier Giorgio Frassati said. The Eucharist makes present the true reality of eternal love. Understanding the signs of the times. Christian hope is revealed in nature and human events, which we must learn to recognize to understand the signs of the times. Through these, the Lord reaches those who seek His face, showing them the path amid the complexity of deeds and days. As the Second Vatican Council states, it is the Church's constant duty to scrutinize the signs of the times and interpret them in the light of the gospel. This guides those seeking God, helping them find meaning in signs and light in testimonies of love to overcome the saddest and most difficult situations.